and helps people get off substances and live their best life. Give people a second chance at life. And so if any of you want to inquire about that afterwards, if any of you feel like that would be something you'd like to do, come talk to me afterwards. But I just want to share a bit of my story and how I actually got involved in that. You know, why would I be doing drug and alcohol rehab for 20 years? And that's what I've been doing for the last 22 years now. It started on the Gold Coast. It's up at Hervey Bay as well, in Melbourne and in Hobart. We have about 85 beds nationwide, and have seen incredible results from. I was just sharing a story about a guy who was homeless for 5 years, like real on the street, nothing, not even a shopping cart, cardboard box, everything, and he was homeless for 5 years. And he came into our program and he struggled really with the structure for a little bit, but he graduated the program and now he's working as a chef for our high-end rehabilitation program. So we run another business which is for the up and outs. There's a lot of business people, there's a lot of CEOs and business people and, you know, celebrities and all that hit the wall too. And we charge, privately for that, and then that helps to fund our charity side of things. And he's working as a chef there. So, wow. So, you know, you can do it. You know, and I guess I just want to share hope today. You know, at the end of the day, we can get to a place where and I've been there myself, even since I got off the drugs and everything. I've been there where I've been absolutely hopeless, where I felt like nothing I did went right, where I felt like I couldn't get anything happening, and all these, it's like the world was against me. I thought there's someone at the back of some village with a voodoo doll putting pins in a doll of Mike Barrett, you know. So I've been there. I've struggled with anxiety. I've struggled with self-worth. I've struggled with depression, where I just didn't want to get out of bed and I didn't know why I was living. And I said, God, could you just take me? Just take me, because I've had enough of this life. And so, I share a bit of my story. I didn't really grow up in a typically broken home or anything like that, but I always struggled with my self-worth. When I went to school, I got bullied at school. I was a little fat kid, used to get bullied at school all the time, and came home one day and said, I'm not going back to school. And Mum's answer for that was to put me in karate lessons. So that was what she decided to do, put me in karate lessons. So now Mum had a new problem. I'd get sent home for fighting, and so, but I took care of the bullies, you know, like I just took care of all the bullies, but I guess I became the bully, and so I went through, and I was reasonably responsible, you know. I wasn't really into drugs or anything growing up. I started smoking pot when I was a teenager, and I thought, pot used to make me feel really paranoid, like, so I just hated it, couldn't stand pot. I'd sit there and I'd have these little demons speaking to me, go, oh, they're out to get you, and oh, they're going to do... There'd always be one clown in the room that thought it was his job to spin out the person who looked paranoid. and anyway, I'd just be terrified. And I remember climbing out the bathroom window and taking off in my car and driving up the freeway at like 30 k's an hour. Felt like my car was this big and the freeway was this big. And needless to say, pot was not my thing. I just didn't like it. It made me feel paranoid and everything. And used to drink a bit on the weekends. I knew I could always handle myself even when I was drunk. And then what happened is, when I was 22 and I was paying off my own house and I was engaged to my girlfriend and everything seemed to be going well, but I was always missing something. How many of you relate, you know, like even if things are going well, there's something missing. Amen. I had this grass is greener disease. It's like I wanted what I couldn't have. When I got it, I didn't want it. When I didn't have it, I missed it. Right? There was always something missing. So anyway, this seemed to be successful, but then this karate sensei comes around one day and I looked up to him and he put 2 needles full of amphetamines on the table. And he said, look, we're going to go out tonight and have a great time, and, you know, and don't worry about it, you know, like I'll inject you up, but you're going to love it. I said, no, man, look, I'm not into drugs. I'm certainly not into needles, and I'll just take a pass. But, you know, he kept at me, and you know, I looked up to him, so he stuck that first needle in my arm that day. And I remember when I got the rush of that amphetamine coming through my system, the speed coming through my system, I remember feeling like this is what I've been looking for. I remember feeling like, this is what I've been missing. This is what I've been looking for. It sort of felt like it completed me. Felt like it completed me, right? And a lot of meth users, I hear them say the same thing. But I remember thinking on that moment when I thought I better be careful. I could get addicted to this, right? I remember even thinking that on that first hit, I could get addicted to this. I better be careful. And so, you know, I just had, you know, I felt like, man, I'm confident and I can do anything. And, you know, I'd come up with these mad philosophies, which when I was coming down just sounded ridiculous. But at the time they sounded great. I thought I was so smart. And anyway, it just got worse and worse. And you know, I'd meet my mate and I'd have it sort of every fortnight or once a month, and then it turned into every week. And then I met his dealer, and then I met his dealer's dealer, and his dealer's dealer, and worked my way up the food chain until gradually it took over my life and I was on a $500 a day habit.